right, second grade team. Here's the Unit 5 suggestions. Okay, I am suggesting, just like last year, to break up Unit 5 into two parts. Place value and then money. So what I'm sharing with you right now are just the parts on place value. That's what I finished so far, and that should take about 2 weeks, maybe even 3 if you wanted to. I would say 3 weeks of school. You might be like, we already did a ton of place value. Yeah, and now you'll just do a ton more. And this is really allowing you to be creative, as in, okay, here are the resources for place value within Bridges, and you take what you will and go various places with it based on what your class understands already with place value. So also keep in mind, I am suggesting just putting the Unit 7 place value ideas into Unit 5. So later on, come Unit 7, they'll be adding and subtracting again with multi-digit numbers up to 1,000. So why not just do that now and keep on doing some of it throughout the school year? So place value smartboard file here, it kind of goes through all these days here of what I explain, but if you would rather not do some of the activities, that's up to you, how you want to work it. That's what's nice about this. You can be like, oh yeah, I'll take that, I'm not going to do that, I'll do that, okay? This is just giving you all the resources. The new place value math room, I'm going to break it into 2 parts. This math room is going to be for place value, since you'll be working through it for 2 to 3 weeks, and then I'll come up with the stuff for money. Okay, so we can spend like 2 weeks on money instead of just a few days. So the new room looks like this. And remember, a kid's going to be able to go through the room better if they're in present mode. So if I go to present mode, you're going to have your number corner February stuff you guys are working on in the month of February, seeing how much red is in the flag with fractions, whether it's half or not. So this game is just saying, is this half or is it not half? And they work on that for a few minutes. Then time, I just incorporated that back into it because the rest of number corner is pretty much computation. And then trying to get like some time into it. Keep them updated on telling time. So those are just 3 games on telling time. And then you have the songs for months and the days of the week. So if you go to numbers in different forms, this is all place value stuff. Some of these they've had before and some of them are new. So all sorts of place value work they could do. And then I've come over here. The more you practice, the better you get. So why not practice on Khan Academy? So these, I took a picture to say, you can work through these at your own rate, all these practice sessions. A second grader watching the videos is not going to be good, but they can at least try some of the Khan Academy practice sessions on adding and subtracting within 1,000 for second grade. So they could start here with this one, and this is the practice sessions, and it'll keep track. See, I tried this one. And it kept track for me. They do not need to log in. It's just, it'll bring them straight to this page, and then they can just click practice, and then they're going to get their 4 problems to try. So like for this one, which equation can be represented by the place value blocks below? And I have to choose which equation down here is going to represent that picture. Now you might be like, oh, this is way too much for some of my kids. Well then, don't have them do it. If some kids would benefit from it, it's there for them, okay? So they work through that, and then they'd be like, okay, I did that one already. It's gonna show that in the graph, and then they go to the next one. So they can just kind of work at their own pace off of Khan Academy. If I go back, now down here you have the same counting activities. You have some new books. This is the one that I advise reading as a class at the beginning of your place value ideas. And then this is another good one that we've used in years before, and you can just mute the video and read it yourself. A few pages. It's good place value ideas if you want to do a page a day or something. Addition and subtraction practice. This is going to bring you here to say, oh, do I want to work on my addition facts? Do I want it to be easier, a little tougher, or really hard? Okay. And then subtraction, same ideas there. This is coming from what I made for 3rd grade. And so a kid could just go to where they feel they need. And most of the stuff I've shared with you guys has been the easier addition and subtraction fact practice. But now, why not incorporate some harder things? So if it's a certain game, I have a video that goes with it to explain what to do in that game. All right, there's also this that you could use, extra math, but they would need to have a login. And if a kid is not good with being timed, do not stick them on extra math because it is timed fact practice. Okay, and then these are the games, place value games that are out there from Bridges where the kids don't have to log in and maybe they have this for at home to do with their parents or something. I don't know, however you want to use it. All right, I'm going to escape out of the math room and going down here. Smartboard file, going through all these days. So day 1, pretest, and this is again revised from last year. I revised it again. So this is kind of what it looks like. Counting by tens or hundreds, starting off the decade, and then filling in, knowing how many hundreds, how many tens, how many ones, how do we write it in expanded form, what's the number? So all those different forms of number. And then we have comparing with pictures and then comparing without the pictures. And then scroll further, we have expanded form, multiple choice, and then addition or subtraction, and they get to pick one of them to show you. See what they know with addition and subtraction up to 1,000. Now they are going to work on addition and subtraction up to 1,000 over and over and over again in 3rd grade also. So yeah, keep that in mind. So day 1, start off with pretest, and then you have the book that is a read aloud video. You can mute the video and read it yourself. It's a good book to introduce the idea of 1,000, even though you probably already have introduced the idea of 1,000. Okay, and then day 2, smartboard slides. There's a picture of the paper clips and the popcorn kernels, and there's 1,000 of them, and then there's the number grid, and then there's an idea of an activity of looking at carnival ticket numbers, and then doing a practice page. Okay, so I'll show you that on the smartboard file here. So here's the pretest. Then I go here to the book. Then I keep going. Day 2, there's the 1,000 kernels and the 1,000 paper clips. And now let's click on this link and scroll through and see what 1,000 looks like on a chart of numbers. Because if I just go to 100, but now the next ones will go to 200. And then I have to do all the 200 numbers. So it's good for a kid to see, like, whoa, yeah, it takes a while to get to 1,000. All right, so now if I go back to here and say, this is the carnival information I was showing you. It's just a notice wonder. What do you guys notice? Like the carnival, it does come to Gunnison. And what if these were the amount of tickets that were bought on Saturday and then Sunday and then Monday? What do you notice about these numbers? And then the practice page here looks like this. They're filling in the missing digits, and then the second page of it has what you just noticed together as a class. And maybe they already answered these questions when they did the noticing, like what did they sell the most tickets of and stuff like that. So again, this is me just, these are recommendations on lessons, how they could run, or you could run it differently, however you want. So day 3, start with a new place value warm-up. The template is right here. We used this last year. And then you could play the place value triple roll because it's a simpler game. You just need 1 dice between a pair of partners. Decide if you're going to go for greatest or least. And the first person rolls, and they get to decide where they're going to place that number. Are they going to place it in the hundreds, the tens, or the ones? And then the other person goes, and they decide where they're going to place their number. And at the end, who's able to make that smallest, least number, if that's what they were going for, then they win. So if I look at the smartboard file, I put a space in between, and then I start with the new place value warm-up. So there it is. It goes with the template. And if you want to change these, you can. You can go through and change. You're like, we're good. We don't need more double digit addition. Let's do one of these as double digit and this be triple digit. I don't know, up to you. And there's the place value triple roll. And click there, you're going to get to the digital display version of it. And then here is if you wanted a practice page of comparing numbers, because that's what you're doing in this. You're comparing two 3-digit numbers. So if you'd like a practice page, that's a good one right there. So now I go back to my notes. So here is that practice page I was talking about that's on the Google slide. So now I go to day 4. And now I have, again, new place value warm-up. I have a shark comparison noticing, and then a practice page. Okay, so it kind of rolls like that. So if I look at the Smartboard file again, oops, I clicked on a link, go back to it. Here is the place value warm-up. I have the noticing of sharks, and maybe you could bump this up and make it more exciting and actually have pictures of these sharks. What do we notice? And they're in centimeters, and you guys just did all those measurements in centimeters, so you can kind of take a look at what that actually looks like. And then we have some place value work, and the sharks length is going to show up on that sheet. So now the next day you have the place value warm-up, and then we did this last year too to introduce the idea of clips, paper clips here. Make a chain of 100 paper clips together as a class, or maybe you have it ready to go, or you're using your links. Use your links and figure out, okay, well, if this is 100, if this is how far 100 goes, how far would 1,000 links go? And then you could walk out in the hallway and actually see for real. And then you have the world record from a child, how long they were able to make a paper clip chain. So you'd hand out this information sheet that is on the Smartboard file, and they would pick where the numbers go. And you will be able to figure out, even though you don't have an answer key, where the numbers would go just based on number sense there. It's just cool as an introduction to the paper clips or the links. New tech enhanced Google Slide activity that Bridges has come out with this year. You could peruse that, and it's counting chains, and see if you would like using that in your classroom to introduce the idea of paper clips and links. Okay, so that's for you to check out. And then the next day, you just do a warm-up again and practice pages with paper clips on them. So now, since we've already talked about paper clips and links, now we're going to do some practice pages that look like that. Okay, and using place value ideas. Then we have, again, place value warm-up in some way, and then you have jump a 10 game. I thought this was a good one. If you want to use it, use it. If you don't, don't. There's more place value practice pages that I found that were good. And then the next day, after you've jumped a 10 in partners, now let's jump 100. And the next day, finish off with some more practice pages. We have lots and lots of practice to do with place value. This one dealing with numbers and buttons. Then day 10, 11, and 12 all are hitting up some story problems. So just like you did story problems with presents, these are story problems from Unit 7, so you can find what they look like. I'm going to scroll through here and find them. So here's the paper clips, here's the jump a 10, jump 100, numbers and buttons, and then you have the word problem. So you have these as a big poster, and then you scroll through here and say, okay, guys, here's the picture. What do you notice, right? What do you notice in the picture? What do you think is happening? Okay, here's the actual problem. And now what one of these bubbles goes with that story problem. And then we try to figure it out together, take strategies of how we're going to add or subtract to get our answer. Instead of just telling them how to add or subtract, we actually find someone who maybe has an idea of what to do and do what they do. And then there are some other games you could use. Sum it up, and there is subtract 1,000, and then just a story problem a day. Okay, if you want more resources for place value and you're like, I want other things other than what you have up here, there's a lot more great stuff that I put down here for you to peruse yourself. Okay, I took the whole 15 minutes. I'm sorry, but I could have even went further. Good luck. have a fun time with place value.